Hi guys, how you doing today? Well, I decided to kick everybody out of the house so it would be quiet so I could teach. So hopefully no more coughing dogs and hopefully we'll get through this and not have any issues. So today I'm going to be teaching you how to read line plots and pictographs. So I'm starting with the line plot. Remember I mentioned last week on the video that line plots I feel are the hardest. They're the hardest ones that you guys are going to have to be able to read and understand. And they are always on the M step. And yes, I know you don't have to do that this year, but you will see it in the future on the M step. So I want to make sure that I teach this skill so that you know it and you understand it. And I was trying to explain it to Mr. Ramsdell this morning at breakfast, and I had him totally confused. So hopefully I don't confuse you, and hopefully we get this all straight, and so that you will understand line plots, because line plots are so important for the M step. So what I have done is I have recreated one that is an example from Super Teacher. This is not going to be one that's on your slideshow, but this is where I'm getting the line plot that I have drawn on the board and the questions that I'm going to ask. So this is set up like the ones you're going to see on the Google slideshow. So I just want to kind of go through this and explain it and show you, and I'm going to ask you questions and I'm going to explain the answers. So that's kind of the best way I can feel to teach this to you so that you have an understanding of line plots and how they work. So let's get started. So this is a line plot of ages of chess club members and their years, the ages of those kids that are in this chess club and how old they are by their years. So are they 8 years old, 9 years old, 10 years old, 11 years old, or 12 years old? So that's what the x-axis, that's called the x-axis across the bottom, that's what is represented there. So the 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 represents how old those chess club members are. So they have, must be there different age groups. They have all the way from 8 years old all the way up to 12 years old. So that's what the x-axis represents down there at the bottom. Now, looking at the line plot, you'll see there are these little x's. Do you see the x's here? Those x's represent people. Every x is a person. So that's super, super important to remember. Every x represents a person on this line plot. So, for example, one of the questions could be, how many 8-year-olds were in the chess club? Well, you would go to the 8 for 8-year-olds and you would count how many x's were above the 8. In this case, there are how many? 1. So there is 1 8-year-old in this particular chess club. So then you could go on. How many 9-year-olds are in the chess club? Well, you would count the x's, because remember, the x's represent people. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 9-year-olds in the chess club. How many 10-year-olds are in the chess club? Look over there. 10-year-olds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Every x is a person. There are 9 10-year-old children in the chess club. How many 11-year-olds? Well, let's look. 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 11-year-olds in the chess club. And 12-year-olds, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 12-year-olds in the chess club. So that's kind of the basics, the questions that you might see. So now we're going to get a little more challenging. So they may ask you, how many more 12-year-olds are in the chess club than 8-year-olds? Well, then we would have to subtract. Well, how many 12-year-olds were there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sometimes I even do a little cheater number and put a 5 up there so I know how many are in that column. And we could do that for each column. We said there's 1 here, 5 here, 9 here, and 4 here, and back to 5 over there. So I said, how many more 12-year-olds than 8-year-olds are in the chess club? Well, how many more tells us to do what? Those clue words tell us to subtract. So we would subtract 5, take away 1, equals 4. So there are 4 more 12-year-olds in the chess club than 8-year-olds? So that's one of the examples of the questions you might see. They may ask you, are there more 11-year-olds than 9-year-olds? So then you would look, okay, how many 11-year-olds? We have 4. How many 9-year-olds? There are 5. So are there more 11-year-olds or are there more 9-year-olds? There are more 9-year-olds because there are more X's above the 9 than there are above the 11. So another type of question they may ask you. How old is the youngest member of the chess club? The youngest member would be the youngest age. So the youngest member would be 8. That's right. How old is the oldest member of the chess club? Well, we would go to the highest number of years. The highest number of years is 12. So the oldest members are 12 years old. Let me look at the other things. So now this one's even more challenging yet. They're going to divide these kids up into 3 different groups. 3 different groups. So they're going to name those groups the pawns. The pawns are kids that are under 10 years old. The knights are going to be 10 years old. And the rooks are going to be older than 10 years old. So let's break that down. Those that are under 10 years old, is that going to include the 10-year-olds? No, because 10-year-olds are 10 years old. So if they're under 10, they're either 9 or 8. So we have to include, I'm going to use a different color here so you can see it better. So these are the ones that would be the pawns. Okay? And then it said the knights are 10 years old. So the knights are only 10 years old. So that would be, this group are the knights. And then the rooks are over 10 years old. So again, you're not counting the 10-year-olds because they're over 10. So that means they're older than 10, which would be this group over here. Those are the rooks. These are different parts of the chess game. I really don't know how to play chess. I know there's a couple of you that do. I think one of the girls in our class knows how to play chess, but I don't know how to play. But I know that these are parts of the chess game. So that's why they've called them that. So it says, how many would be in the pawns? So we have to combine the 8 and 9-year-olds because they are under 10. So 5 plus 1 equals 6. So there would be 6 pawns. Well, for the knights, they're only 10-year-olds. The knights can only be 10. So we know, because we wrote our 9 up there, there are 9 that are in the knights that are 10 years old. And then the rooks are older or over 10. So now we have to add 4 plus 5 because both of these groups are over 10. So 4 plus 5 equals 9. So we have 6 pawns, 9 knights, and 9 rooks. And that's how you would figure that out. And if I were you, if you're able to print this paper out, when you get to the ones on the Google slideshow, make the circles, make the groups, do exactly what I did, because that is the visual proof that you need to show me how you got your answer. Then that way, if your parents are checking it or if I'm checking it and you make a mistake, we'll know how you made your mistake because we'll see it on your paper. Or you can put it on another piece of paper. You could draw it out like I did. I took the picture and I drew it out on a big board. You could draw it out on a piece of paper. That's just fine too. But put your circles or your squares on there so you know exactly what information you're talking about and you know exactly where to get your numbers and your groups from. Okay, so now it could ask you, how many kids were in the chess club altogether? Well, remember, every single X represents a what? A person. So if we wanted to find out how many kids were in the chess club altogether, what would we do? I can hear somebody saying it right now. We would add up all the numbers. Add up all the numbers for the totals of each group. So we would have 1 plus 5. 1 plus 5 is 6. 6 plus 9. 6 plus 9 is 15. 15 plus 4. 15 plus 4 is 19. And 19 plus 5. 19 plus 5 is 24. So, there were 24 kids in the chess club all together. 24 of them. And another way we could solve that problem is to count the X's. So let's check our work. We added all the numbers together to get 24. Let's count all the X's to see if we are correct. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. We got 24. Do our numbers match? Yes, they do. So we know that we are correct. So there's 2 different strategies to solve the same problem. You can solve it whichever way you want to. I'm fine with that. Okay, so we figured out how many kids there were all together in the chess club. And we've talked about all the different parts. So hopefully now you have the basics for how to read a line plot. I know they're kind of confusing, but always look at the x-axis. Sometimes there's a title at the top. Sometimes there is, sometimes there isn't, just depends. But always know that typically, in this case especially, every X represents a person. And that's the most important part to know and to remember. So that way when they're talking about how many people are here or how many people are there, you know that those X's represent people. Okay, so now I'm going to pause it so that I can set up everything for the pictographs, because we're going to do pictographs next. Oh, I do want to show you though, the 2 examples you're going to do for line plots on the Google slideshow. This is one. Looks very similar. See all the X's, and this one has to do with bracelets sold. I thought the girls would like that one. So bracelets sold. So every X on that particular line plot represents a bracelet. Across the bottom, the X-axis, like on ours, it says chess club members. On here, it says the cost of bracelets. And then how many bracelets were sold that were $5 and $6 and $7 and so forth. So that's what that one's about. The next one is about science test scores. Okay, so that's what the second one's going to look like. Just so you know what to look for when you actually get out there to the Google slideshow and what those are going to look like. All right, so now I'm going to pause the video so I can set up for pictographs, because that's the second part of what we're going to be teaching today is pictographs. And so let me get that set up for you. Okay, I think we're all set up here for our pictograph. So I've decided to have a little lemonade stand, since we can't be out doing anything, why not have a lemonade stand? So I decided I'm going to have a pictograph of lemonade stand profits. So I decided to have my lemonade stand on Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays, and Mondays. The dollar signs represent the money that I've earned on those days. Now, the most important part of a pictograph is knowing what the symbols represent. There's always a key either above or below, and typically it's below the pictograph telling you what the little symbol represents. On this specific pictograph, it's a dollar sign. So down here is the key that says each dollar sign represents what? $5. So everywhere you see a dollar sign, that represents $5 on my pictograph. So how much lemonade, how much money did I make? Profits. We talk about profits in Michigan Studies. Profit is the amount of money we have left after all expenses are paid. So this is the profits that I earned each day that I had my lemonade stand. So Friday, how much money did I earn with my lemonade stand? Well, I like this one especially because you can count by fives. So I'm going to take and use my little marker, and I'm going to write the total at the end of each bar because I want to see how much I have in each day. So let's count by fives. Ready? Count with me. Begin. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So on Friday, I sold $25 worth of lemonade. So I'm going to write that clear over here. $25 is what I earned on Friday. Now let's count Saturday. Let's go. Ready? Count with me. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. So $35 I earned on Saturday. Now let's count how much I earned on Sunday. So Sunday, 5, 10, 15. A little bit less, must be people weren't out that day, so only $15 I earned on Sunday. And then on Monday, ooh, a little bit less yet there. So let's count it, ready? 5, 10. So I only made $10 on Monday. So, pictograph is kind of like a bar graph, but yet it's not. So it has pictures that represent how much of something. In this particular case, how much money did I make on those days selling my lemonade at my lemonade stand? So some of the questions you might be asked are things like, did I earn more money on Friday or on Monday? Well, let's look. On Friday, I earned $25, and on Monday, I earned $10. So did I earn more on Friday, or did I earn more on Monday? Friday, because the bigger number means I earned more. So Friday, I earned more because I have $25 more. How much did I earn on Sunday? Another question you could be asked, how much did I earn from my lemonade stand on Sunday? Well, let's look at Sunday, and we've already counted each row, so we know exactly how much. Well, I earned $15 on Sunday. So my work is already really done for me because I did it at the very beginning. Let's see if another question we could be asked. We could be asked a combination question like this. How much did I earn on Saturday and Sunday all together? Ooh, all together. Let's think back. Think about that poster on the wall to the left of the smartboard that says the keywords in math problems and word problems. So let's think all together. Where would that one have been on that poster? Addition. That's right. So how much did I earn all together on Saturday and Sunday? Well, let's add them together. I'm going to step over here. We're going to add Saturday and Sunday together. So 35 plus 15. 5 plus 5 is 10. That's right. Carry the 1. 1 plus 3 is 4. And 4 plus 1 is 5. So I earned $50 altogether on Saturday and Sunday. So I would add those two numbers together, just like we did on the board. Let's see another question we might be asked. So another question we could be asked is, how much more did I earn on Saturday than I did on Friday? There's a couple different ways you could solve this problem. One of the ways, we could just look at the pictograph. We could line up what we have in both. So this is where they stop matching up. So then we could just look at the two here. Those are the ones that are left over on Saturday. So, and remember, each dollar sign equals how much? $5, that's right. So that would be 5, 10. So I'm going to write $10 over here. But we're gonna do subtraction to check our answer to make sure that we are right. Because that was one strategy, matching up all the dollar signs until we ran out and then counting the ones left over. That is one way to figure out how much more we had on Saturday than on Friday. Another way we could do it is to, how much more is like how many more? Think about that keywords and word problems again, that poster. How many more or how much more? Where would we see those keywords? Subtraction. That's right. So we could subtract. So I'm going to take and erase my problem over here because my board is so small. Remember, I'm missing my big board at school, but we'll do what we have to. So how much more did I make on Saturday than on Friday? So which number is bigger, 35 or 25? 35 is bigger, so 35 has to go on top. 35 take away 25. Okay, 5 take away 5 is 0. 3 take away 2 is Those are number neighbors. So that answer would be 1. And we got 10. Did we get the same answer? Yes, we did. So we solved it 2 different ways. Here's our proof. Here's our proof. And here's our proof of what our answer would be. All right, let's look at our paper to see what else we could be asked. On which day did I earn the least amount of money in my lemonade stand? Which day did I make the least? So does the least mean the smallest amount, or does the least mean the biggest amount? It means the smallest amount. So which day did I make the least? Well, let's look at our totals. 25, 35, 15, 10. Which number is the least? That would be 10. So Monday is the day that I made the least in my lemonade stand. Let's do the opposite of that. Which day did I make the most? Which day did I make the most? The most would have the biggest number or the smallest number? Well, the biggest number, that's right. So 25, 35, 15, 10. Which one's the biggest? 35. So which day was that? Saturday. People must have been out on Saturday and wanted to buy my lemonade. So Saturday is the day that I made the most. Let's see what else we could be asked. Those are all pretty much the questions that we have. So we could compare 2 different amounts by subtracting one from the other. We could say, maybe, I can't remember if we did have, yes, we combined Saturday and Sunday. So there were 2 days that we added together. So you can add amounts together and you can subtract amounts if you need to. What if I wanted to know how much I made in my lemonade stand altogether? Ooh, what would I do there? You got it. We would add all the numbers together. So let's do that over here. I'm going to take that sign away, take this subtract or the line away, move this down a little bit. So we have 35, 25, and now we just need to add 15 and 10, and we're going to add those all together. 5 plus 5 is 10. 10 plus 5 is 15. Put down the 5, carry the 1. 1 plus 3 is 4. 4 plus 2 is 6. 6 plus 1, 7. And 7 plus 1, 8. Well, holy cow, I made $85 in my lemonade stand. Maybe I should do that every weekend. What do you think? That could be a nice form of extra income. I'm just teasing. But no, if I wanted to know how much money I made altogether, I would just add all those amounts up and I would have my total for what I made in my lemonade stand all together. And I would have made $85 between Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. That's pretty good for only 4 days worth of work. So those are the kinds of questions you might be asked in a pictograph. How many more? How much less? How much altogether? But remember, the most important thing the most important part of a pictograph is knowing what those pictures, these little symbols are pictures. What does that picture represent? And in this particular pictograph, the $ represented $5. You're going to have a couple of pictographs. One is going to be stuffed animals. How fun. Notice the picture is a little bear. He's a stuffed animal. And then again, down here is the key. Tells you what each stuffed animal represents. Make sure you look at that. It's so, so important. And then the other one is ice cream flavors. And over here, so over to the side is the key. And you have to actually create the pictograph by following the directions and creating what it says up here at the top. So you're going to make the pictures and then you're going to answer the questions below. But make sure you're paying attention to the key to know how many every picture is supposed to represent. Just a little tidbit of information. I made some coconut ice cream last night. It's not on here, but oh my word, it was so yummy. It is, my sisters have been chatting back and forth, telling about all these ice creams they've been making at home. You know, since we can't do anything else, you might as well make ice cream, right? Why not? And so when Mr. Ramsdell went to the store, I asked him to pick up a couple ingredients that we could make this ice cream out of. So yesterday I made ice cream. So how fitting is that? I should add coconut to here. Anyways, but oh, it is so, so good. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed our lesson about line plots and pictographs. And remember, the Brain Pop video slideshow or slide will have videos to go with both of these skills. So make sure you check there. Make sure you do the quizzes that go with them. Because next week we're going to do bar graphs and line graphs. So those are the last two things that we will be doing. But I wanted to do line plots first because I feel like it's kind of the tough one. And I wanted you to have more time. And that way, if you wanted to ask questions, if you didn't understand it and you needed some help from me, you could have time to ask questions. So that's why I wanted to do that one first, because to me, that's the one that's most important. And then pictographs, it's good to see that so you can understand what those pictures represent. So I hope you enjoyed this lesson. And then next week will be the last one. I know, can you believe it? We're almost at the end. Time has gone by so fast. Okay, I will see you guys at our Zoom call on Wednesday, and I will talk to you then. See you later. Oh, try some coconut ice cream. It is so good. See you guys.